Welcome to your 4Me training session. My name's Andy Matus, and I'm here to take you through some key aspects of the 4Me platform, particularly focused from an IT standpoint on incident management, moving into major incident management, some queue management concepts and capabilities, and a few things in between. But come with me, let's get stuck into the 4Me platform and get your training underway. Now, to start with, what we're going to talk about is just something that I want you to keep in the back of your mind as we go through the session, and that's 4Me is a service-orientated platform, and it's the only service-orientated platform. Now, what that means is we need to make sure that anything that we work on or log or manage has a service and a service instance associated with it. So if we just keep that in the back of our mind, that'll come to fruition as we work through some incident management tactics as we go into today's session. Okay, I'm just going to jump in to the platform. Excellent. Now, when I log into the 4Me platform, what you see here is that I'm logged in as Howard Tanner in our demo platform in a fictitious company called Widget Data Center. And if you've done a little bit of the online training, then I would assume that you know the company and some of the data here. That's fine. Now, what I see first is my my smart inbox, and my smart inbox is automatically sorted for me based on when I need to take next action on that ticket, and that's what we see here on the right-hand side. It's color-coded for me. It's giving me dates and times. Some have already expired, some are best effort, and some have particular times against them, so that's quite interesting. The other things that I see are some key icons that denote the type of ticket that I'm working on. Now, the telephone is a request, and remembering in 4Me, a request can be an incident, it can be a request for change, or a request. It can be an RFI, it can be a request for information, a complaint, or a compliment, or an other ticket, and we'll talk about that more in a minute also. Now, there's also some other information there which shows me, hey, this is an update, waiting for an update from you. That's what the blue dot is. And then underneath that, I also can see the sub-classification of that type of ticket. Or if it's a problem or an incident, the priority of that ticket. And you'll get to know these icons as you get to know and love the 4Me platform. So we'll work through the other key elements of the platform as we go through the tickets, and hopefully you'll get a good feeling for it. So one of the first things that I want to take you through is really important if you're ingesting email. So if you're ingesting email and taking email as a channel into your 4Me platform, they don't get classified properly when they come in because there's no way of actively being able to classify that. Now, so what happens then is it comes in, and I've got one created here ready to go. It comes in as an other ticket, right? And when I click on it, I get this view of the ticket over here on the right-hand side. And I can also see at the top that it's best effort, as I can see here. I can also see that it's in category other. Now, category other tickets are tickets that we need to classify ASAP, because it does a couple of things. One, it automatically assigns it to the right team, and two, it appropriates the right SLA according to that. And also, if there's any service impact associated with other tickets going on, what's really important is it actually helps me prioritize what else is going on in the platform, right, from an impact analysis perspective. So let's do it. Now, up the top here are my action buttons. I've got a pencil to edit the ticket, or if I double click on the actual ticket, I go straight into an edit function here. Now, when I'm in edit, my key action buttons kind of disappear, so I've just got to jump in and do the things directly in the ticket. The first thing is what type of ticket is it? It's not an other, there's no such thing as other, so let's fix that up properly. It's an incident. He can't log in, it is an incident, okay? The next thing is what's the impact, right? And these are all standard. So it's one person can't log in, so service is down for one user. Quite straightforward, nice and simple to do. Then I've got my service instances. Now, I don't have a lot of information here, so I'm going to pretend that I've phoned Brian and said, Brian, what can't you log into, mate? What is going on? And he's like, I can't log into the monitoring platform. Andy, I can't log into or Howard, in this case, can't log into the monitoring platform. So I can either search for that here, or I might just drag it over from the right-hand side. And I'm going to look here and see monitoring production over in my service instances in my service hierarchy explorer, which is what this thing on the right-hand side is. I can minimize it. I can bring it over. Monitoring, right? And again, I could search for it, if I could spell it correctly. Monitoring production, there it is there. But actually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag it across. So I could have clicked the apply button, but I'm dragging it in. Right? And it is associated to actually HP OpenView Network Node Manager. So notice how the CI appeared in context to what I'm working on. That's some of the magic of For Me. I'm going to apply the CI to this ticket as well. So now I'm providing context, classifying, providing context, and for the purposes of now, I'm just going to save it, right? So it's now automatically assigned the operations team to that ticket, and we now have some more information around the impact and the fact that it's an incident and we're off and running. And you'll notice here that, hey, it's waiting action from me, and also I've got a little line item here to say it's a medium priority. That's the one red line. Now I'm going to take ownership of it, which is the middle button here, which is the accept into my inbox. I could have denied it, rejected it back to the team's inbox. I can click play, which is starting the assignment to say it's in progress, or I could forward it off to someone else. But for the purposes of today, I'm going to start it, and the ticket's now in progress. Okay, so the response time SLA has been met. I'm now in progress, and what's important here is I need to get going. So let's click edit. But before I do, I just want to recap something really quickly. Emails coming in or tickets that don't have they're in an other status and don't have a service, it's really important to attach the service and the type of ticket as soon as you possibly can, because that initiates any automation that For Me's got in the background. And as you can see, then you get your service hierarchy explorer to apply the additional For Me magic to that ticket. So that's the first action always. Get the type of ticket. Is it an incident? Mark it as an incident, right? Put the impact. What type of impact is it? Is it one user, multiple users, etc.? Right? And add the service into it, and then you're off and running. Right? Things start to happen really quickly from there. Now, I've double-clicked to edit, or I could have clicked the pencil. And I know I'm in edit mode because my save button is highlighted at the top. And now I'm going to start collaborating with people, because that's what incident management's all about. It's about collaboration. And to do that, I'm going to do it with an internal note. I click the internal note, and I'm going to mark here someone to help me. And I've just clicked the @ symbol, and I'm going to say, actually, I'm going to get Chris Ball to help me because I know he's good with monitoring. Chris, mate, I can use more relaxed language because it's an internal note. Can you help me? Now, I'm not assigning this to Chris. All I'm doing is asking him for help. Okay. Now, I've assigned some time there as well. Your instance might not have time assignment enabled. The demo instance does, but that's okay. So I've asked Chris to help me. We can see here that he's mentioned. He would have got a notification about that. And it's got a padlock, which means it's an internal note. Only people within my organization can see it as a specialist, not customers, not end users. Okay. So that's really exciting. We've asked Chris to help. We've maybe gone and had a chat with him about it. He may have put a note in. He's not going to for the training purposes, but we're starting to build up our collaboration in this ticket. Now, what we might do is we might just leave that one for a minute. That was an in-progress ticket that came in via email. We're now going to go out and log a brand new ticket. Okay, so we're going to, because it's a new ticket, I'm going to log it for me. But whether it's for me or on behalf of somebody else, I click my headset icon and I want to raise the request for myself. Or I could have typed their name in there, but I'm going to raise it for myself. You know what? Surprisingly, I had an issue accessing the monitoring tool as well. So I'm going to log a ticket about monitoring. And I'm going to put in here, I can't log into HP monitoring. And I'm going to hit enter. Well, that didn't actually bring any results back. So probably should test these things. So the HP thing really threw it off. So we're getting in here, we're seeing a whole bunch of request templates and things coming up. Not really what I'm looking for. We can see it is associated to the monitoring service here. What we might do actually is we just do monitoring and see what comes up. Excellent, there's the monitoring service. Templates aren't right, so we're going to click none of the above. And we're now logging a ticket. Now, I might change this to can't log in to HP N&M, and I'll just put monitoring seems down for me. Now the impact, well, because I picked up that ticket from Brian, I know that, hey, it's not just down for one user, but it might be degraded for several. So I'm going to mark it as high. It's automatically put the right service, and it's put the team. I'm gonna put it as me because I kind of want to get involved in this one straight away. So I'm going to save it. Now, no, I didn't put a CI against it. Notice the CI is made available, so I'll throw that in there as well. And when we do your implementation, we will be hooking into your source of your CIs and attaching them to the right services. So know that they will be there and they'll be available. And that's the immediate value that For.me offers. Okay, so that's there. We've got a ticket. It's a high impact. It's against the monitoring service. Now, we're going to progress that a little bit, but I'm just going to go back through my inbox. I've got Brian's ticket here. I've got my ticket there as well. And actually, I'm going to now claim it and start working on it. And what we're going to do is edit it again, and we're going to start progressing it through its status. So note that if you want to move it through its status, you can actually, when you're editing it, choose the status that you want it to go into. Some tools have a particular progression of status. With For.me, we've really simplified that. You might want to go from in progress to closed and not have to go through another step in between. Or you might want to say, hey, actually, we're going to drop it back into declined or assigned directly from another status. There's no need from a best practice perspective to force you down a particular path. It's got to be simple. Okay. But what we might actually do is we're going to jump into Brian's ticket, and we're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to edit Brian's ticket. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Brian to see whether it's still an issue. Okay. And to do that, I put it in waiting for customer and then write a note and say, can you check if this is still a thing? Now, because I've got waiting for customer and putting a note in, that means the customer is going to get that emailed to them automatically. You don't have to send an email. Okay, I'm going to click save. It'll send an email. The other thing I could do is I could tag the customer just like I tagged Chris earlier, and it would send him an email in the same respect. But I want to set it to waiting for customer because what that does is that stops my clock. So it's gone grey. It's now waiting for customer, and I can see here in my inbox, my clock has stopped, no blue dot anymore, and I'm waiting for customer. So I'm waiting for the customer to come back and confirm whether this is still a problem. So that's cool. We're moving things through statuses now. We're doing some collaboration. We know about our service hierarchy explorer. We're dragging in CIs. We're really working on this ticket. Very interesting stuff going on here. From an incident manager's perspective, there's something happening with the monitoring service, and I want to work on it as one ticket, not as multiple. So we're going to use a grouping functionality. So in Brian's ticket, I'm actually going to group it, and I'm going to say group using my cogwheel, and I'm going to actually group it into the ticket that I logged, which was can't log into HP N&M. And I'm going to group. Now you could do it with multiple tickets, right? I could actually say that this one from Barney and this one from Carla are also associated. So I've just control selected those, and I'm going to group those two, and we're going to add them to the same group. Boom. They're now simplifying in my inbox. Okay. You'll see that was mass queued. The grouped ticket appears at the top. It's got the priority of the highest priority ticket that's linked. Okay, I can see by the fact that there's a shadow in behind my little phone here that it is a grouped ticket. So, hey, we're rocking and rolling, working on multiple tickets, 4 at once. Now, if I edit this and add a note, I could ask everyone, check if this is still happening. Now, what would happen is that's going to put a note in everyone's, but what I might actually say is, we are working on this. Come back to you soon. Okay. Every ticket now has that note against it. All right. Which means That's really powerful. Now, if a customer comes back to one of the sub tickets, that will also appear in this group's request. So it's smart enough to surface that information as you go through it. Now, I've done a bit more investigation in this one, and I realised that actually it's down. All right, we know it's down. Excuse me, we know it's down. So that means I need to update the ticket again and say, well, it's not a high impact. The service is down for several users. So I've just changed that, and I'm just going to save it. Now I've got an impact of top. We can see I've got red lines over here. And that doesn't seem enough. I could just continue to work on it as a grouped top-down issue, but actually I need to invoke my major incident process and work on this as a major incident. And to do that, we've got to meet some criteria. The first criteria is the impact needs to be top. So we've done that. Great. The second criteria is you need to have major incident managers defined in your first level support agreement for your organization. We can have a look at that in a minute, but know that the demo instance is set up with major incident managers. And Howard Tanner happens to be one. So good days. So I'm going to say, with my cogwheel, I'm going to propose as a major incident. This looks to be major. Excellent. So now we've got a little dancy orange icon here and over here that says it's proposed as a major incident. Okay, that's cool. I also can see it here. All right. As a major incident manager for the organization, I would have just received a notification as well saying that there is a proposed major incident. You need to accept it or deny it as a major incident manager. And you can have as many major incident managers as you want for the company, but they'll all get the notification, right? So one of them has to accept it, and I am going to accept it. Accept it as a major incident. This is major. Okay. So I've accepted it. My little orange dancy triangle is now red, which means, whoa, we're in a major incident situation, and the major incident status is accepted. Now, what's the point, you might ask? Well, the point is, when it's marked as a major incident, you can do so much more with it. We can set up additional automations for you, right, where you have status change notifications going out to maybe the service owners, or you might have other criteria that might want to meet from an automation perspective, and triggering more specific processes because it's marked as major. Just out of the box, what it does as a major incident is not only does it make sure it's on the top of everyone's inbox that is associated, but also what it does is it communicates every status change to all the major incident managers within the business. Okay, so it's already got some built-in smarts, but you can add more in it as well because it gives you more levers and more hooks to work with. So I now have a major incident. I'm working on it, and just note that if I resolve it, I'm actually going to resolve all of the attached group requests, and it will go to everyone saying, "Hey, this tick is resolved. Confirm that you're happy with it. Thumbs up, thumbs down," as the normal for me way. So lots of cool stuff going on there. The other thing I wanted to show is if we just pretended I was someone else for a minute and didn't know about the major incident, and I'm picking up a call on the service desk, and maybe it's someone by the name of, let's pick someone who would actually know something about Microsoft support. Say Alexi, and Alex, he's in the wrong organization. Apologies. Let's try that again. Let's find someone from the Widget Data Center company. Let's pick Billy Stylish. Oh, Stylish. Okay, so you'll notice that Billy's rang and saying, I can't get into the monitoring tool. Hey, we've got a red dot on there. Now, that's not because it was necessarily major, but it's because there is a top affecting incident on that particular service, okay? So we're logging a ticket for Billy, and what we might do is say, well, we know that it's red, right? It's the monitoring production. We know that also the CI is red here, Wow, there's lots going on. And also, look at this. We've got major incidents. There's red lights shining up at me all the time, saying that there's something going on, right? So over here, I could actually apply it straight to the grouped incident, which we're going to do. So I'm going to hit group. And now it's logged straight into the group ticket. And I'm just going to save it. Done. Okay, it's a group ticket in amongst the master tickets. And what I also want to have a quick look at is my service navigator. My service navigator is now showing me that there is a problem with the monitoring production service and it's affecting HP OpenView as the CI. How cool is that? Okay, now as a major incident manager working on this, what's the next thing we really want to do about this? Well, we actually want to broadcast. We want to tell someone. So I'm going to log a broadcast. And as a major incident manager, I can do that. The demo instance will ask me to log in again because it's going into the settings section. But as SSO will be enabled for you, that won't be an issue. So I'm going to jump in here and type in broadcast. And we're going to do our broadcasting. Now, the broadcast functionality is all about communicating the issue at hand or communicating something either out onto the portal or out via an email. There's an email trigger now as well, or out via the little notification at the bottom of people's inboxes, which you would have seen inside of ForMe before. So we're going to add a new one. We're going to say it's an outage. And we're going to say it is a monitoring outage. Whoops. Boom. Monitoring outage, and we're going to write in here HPNMN is down for all users working on it. Cool. We're not going to put an end date because that automatically takes it off. We don't know how long this is going to go on for. Then you've got this really cool thing around who should see the broadcast. This is so powerful. So you can say, hey, anyone who's got coverage for that service instance, so people that can log tickets against monitoring, will see the broadcast. Well, that makes sense to me. But just for the purposes of the training, you could do things like put it to specific sites or teams or skill pools or just specific organizations and their descendants or just specific departments. You've got, or just the specialists, right? Just your team members working inside of ForMe. There's tons of options there. But we're going to leave it as related to the service instance because that's the most powerful. And then we're going to attach it to our group ticket. There we go. Save. Now, that's active. It's rocking and rolling. There would have been, if you've got the email template for broadcast turned on, it would send the broadcast out. What's also going to happen is it's put something on the portal for those people that consume the monitoring service. And they can say, I'm affected too. With one button, it'll log a ticket and go in. In addition to that, I can now see it down the bottom here. There it is. And that will scroll around because there's multiple things going on. So we've got a major incident. We've worked on it. We're grouping tickets to it, and now we're broadcasting it to the rest of the organization. We are rocking and rolling. You are managing major incidents like a master, right? And it's simple and easy to do. If I wanted to go and search for other tickets that were similar that I might not see, maybe you want to go and have a look at see what else is coming. I go into my Records Explorer and look at that, and I can see all the actual tickets that have been linked to the major. I might want to search for monitoring and see are there other tickets here that actually need to be associated. Well, maybe there is. They don't really look associated, but you know what? For the purpose of this, I'm going to control click and I'm going to group them as well, and we're going to group them straight to that major incident. So we're attaching a nice big queue of tickets all to that, and we're working with them all together. Now that will do its thing and attach them in a mass update shortly. When you're grouping tickets, one thing to note is they've got to have a service associated that is associated with the service that you're grouping. So you can't group tickets across services that don't have a relationship. That's just something to keep in mind. Now, we're running out of a little bit of time here, so we're going to move away from major incident management and broadcasting and all those sorts of things. And I'm going to talk about queue management and how to manage your queues. Okay, so managing queues happens a couple of key different ways. Now, in the demo environment, what we've got set up here is we use the concept of a queue coordinator or a team coordinator. And what that means is when a new ticket comes in, it doesn't just go into the My Teams inbox, it'll go into the coordinator's inbox for the coordinator to associate it to a member of the team manually. So that means you've got someone there that is classifying the ticket and sending it out to specific people within the team. And you can have a different coordinator per team. Okay? So that's the first way. The second way is you can have the auto assign feature turned on. Now what that means is when a ticket comes into your team and it's not assigned to an individual, the auto assign AI or machine learning algorithms will look at the tickets across your team members, your availability, right? How much time you're spending on those types of tickets and previous tickets against their complexity, perceived complexity based on the data in the tool, and it will assign the ticket to the right person who has the least amount of work to try and keep the ticket load according, right? And it looks at things like how much expected effort is associated. So if you're working on requests and you've actually got a workflow attached to that request, and there might be the target amount of effort you need to spend on those tasks, it'll take all of that into account and actually assign the ticket to the person that's got the least amount of work on. And it will do that queue management for you, right? So that's the auto assign function. And I'll show you where these are turned on. They're turned on in the team section. And if we look at my team and the ops team, we can see here when I edit it, we can see we've got a coordinator. If that was clear and auto assign was turned on, it would do that auto assign thing. If they're both clear, that's the third option, which is kind of the out of the box option, which when a ticket is assigned or associated to a team, it goes into everybody's inbox within that team until they take personal ownership. So it's like a self-service option. So you take personal ownership and then it disappears out of everyone else's personal inbox. Remains in the team inbox, but disappears out of everybody else's. So they're the three ways you manage your queues or your team queues using the tool. Auto assign, coordinator, or self-service when both of those options are not available. Or are not filled in, I should say, not available. Okay, so let's take a little bit of a review back as to what we've gone through today. So first and foremost, services and ticket types need to be assigned to tickets that are coming in. Look for those tickets with another status and make sure there's a service and ticket type assigned. If you're receiving emails in and you've got tickets marked as other and everything's on best effort, then get a service assigned to it because it will start automating the process for you, right? Don't leave tickets in the other status because you lose visibility, you lose automation, you lose productivity, you lose your user experience. The second thing I want you to think about and make sure you're doing is collaborating with your team members. Tag them in the tickets, get them working on tickets. Don't forward the ticket around, just tag them and ask them for help, right? The other thing I didn't say is when you get tagged and you get notifications, it'll appear in your notification bar up the top here, okay? So I don't have much there, but you'll see or you'll get an email that you've been tagged in a ticket, okay? Make sure you're progressing the statuses within those tickets. And if there are multiple tickets that are the same, group them, okay? Use your service navigator to see impact on services and how your services relate. Use your service hierarchy explorer on the right-hand side. That was that blue slide in, slide out menu for all the goodness. That is where the For Me magic is. Remember, when I'm in here and I'm editing a ticket, my service hierarchy explorer has the magic. It has the related CIs, the open issues, the known errors, the child instances or related instances, what status these tickets are at the moment. Use it. It is gold. And that's where I'm going to leave you today. Obviously, if you've got any questions, you can I've got a question about For Me ticket in your instance, and it will find its way to Streamline, and we will help you with it and get you across some of these key outcomes. But for the purposes of today's session, thank you very much for listening, and good luck For Meing. Speak to you soon.